Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first hot lap video for SLR on F122. And taking us around this track, which is the Bahrain Grand Prix, is SLR driver Joel in the Mercedes. So let's kick it off. Heading down into turn 1, Hyde will be firmly fixed on the first brake point. It's just as the curb starts. Heavy brake point, you want to hold it in third and then switch up to fourth. You don't want to be too greedy on the throttle because you will lose that back end. DRS activated, good overtaking spot. Just before the curb here is your brake point. Again, you want to hold it roughly in fourth or fifth because traction is tricky this year. Dropping down into fifth, then back up to sixth, around 6 and 7. Not too difficult. After the Armco barrier on the left, there is your brake point. Dropping you down into third, then short shifting up to fourth, up the hill. A little bit of boost as well if you're in the race. Then just after that white line is your brake point as you navigate this very, very tricky turn 10. DRS activated again, the second overtaking spot. Then you want to move gradually over here as Joel does. At the black box is your brake point. A little dab on the brakes, maybe down in the fourth, or hold it in the fifth, whatever you prefer. Up the gears and then hugging this inside line, but you don't want to touch that curb. And then just as the little orange barrier on the end of that barrier on the right hand side of the track is your brake point. Taking a little bit of curb to pull the car around. One more corner to go here for Joel. And just at the curb, around about the 80-meter point is your brake point. Joel taking a good bit of that curve to bring the car around. Be careful on the acceleration. DRS activated. That's a 28.1 for Joel. Completes a lap of the Bahrain Grand Prix.
Good evening and welcome to Tier 1, Round 1 of SLR's Season 9, I think it is, that we've got here. We're here in Bahrain, and I am going to be commentating tonight with Boosted Mess. So apologies that I haven't updated this screen because it still says Ferravara from Tier 2 yesterday. So yeah, we'll get some of those wrinkles ironed out before long. But yeah, looking forward to another great race at Bahrain. This is the third of the week, second for me to commentate. And yeah, with me, Boosted Mess, are you looking forward to this one?
Yep, absolutely. So it's been a hell of a long break, it feels like, between the end of the previous season and then getting into this season now with a new game. So yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing how these guys perform with the new changes, the new aero packages that we've got in the cars now. The handling models change, lots of big changes in this game now, and this will be the first time we've seen the Tier 1 drivers racing under these conditions. Yeah.
Speaking of the Tier 1 drivers as well, we've got the driver line up there. As you can see, lots of familiar faces from SLR. Some new guys to Tier 1 as well. Some people have decided to drop assists. Most notably, we've got a Zygon, Meepo, and Edge as well. Also dropped the assist. Ferravara, who has had a bit of a dabble last season with no assists, but didn't really like the game last season as well. And we've also got Loff as well, who had a lot of incidents in Tier 2 last season, but he's gone for the plunge to go for no assists. But it'll be interesting to see how these guys turn up in this one. Tenari as well, also an absolutely fantastic driver in Tier 2 last season as well, has dropped assists to drive here, and he had a decent race in Tier 2 yesterday as well. But we've got some drivers out there on track at the moment. No times in as it stands, but we shall go live and bring you footage of the race, or at least I hope we will go in live, but apparently not. Yeah, we are going live. So here we go then, getting ready for this. I'm just going to quickly turn off a couple of things that I don't want running that are going to slow my PC down, so apologies for that. But on board at the moment with Yari for his lap. We'll go around on board with him as he breaks just at the 100-meter board there for turn 1. Gets a bit of a lock up, but a big snap of oversteer there as well. But he keeps control of it quite handily. This is why this guy is judged to be the alien of aliens. A 28.1 from a Daisy to start us off with the times as well, but nice and tidy through turn 4 from Yari anyway. And now we'll go through turn 6 and 7. Going to be flat out around the 6. He does lift quite a bit there, does Yari. I'm wondering if he's just trying to get the banker in. We've got a yellow flag there in sector 1. That's just somebody going slow down the straight to let somebody pass on their fast lap. Turn 10 here, this one is an absolute nightmare, this corner. It's on camber, it's off camber. You've got a brake on turn at the same time. It's very easy to lock up.
Oh, and he's invalidated as Yari.
Has he?
Just coming down that back straight. I believe it has.
It's showing valid for me. I'm not sure.
Is he? Well, maybe I'm talking rubbish then. I did flash up red briefly on my map there. It could be a minor glitch. New game, there's still a few minor little bits and pieces to be ironed out.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to. It seems valid to me. He's still pushing anyway, as he gets a nice turn 13 there, taking that wide apex, and now into the final corner, carrying a lot more speed than you think you can through this corner, especially if you take it wide like that. Get on the power very strongly and early as well. Let's see what Yari does here. As Lawrence is currently topping the boards with the 128 flat. Yari with only a 128.5. So yeah, struggled there. You got a big snap of oversteer in that first corner, so that's going to cause him some problems there. But let's see if we can find somebody else who's still on a lap. We could have Loff on a lap at the moment. He looks like he's coming around the second sector at the moment. See what kind of time he can do. As Icon with a 130.1, you'll be disappointed with that for sure as well. But some very competitive times coming in here. Lots of people in those 28s. I imagine we're probably going to see some low 27s here at some point here, do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's absolutely possible with the guys that we've got racing today.
Yeah, certainly is. And we had Kiko with a 27.9 yesterday, and Lawrence is okay. RRK Lawrence, otherwise known as Cody, or some idiot, is already scratching at that wall on his banker lap with a 28 flat. So, yeah, as Ocean Chief says, lots of champs on the grid. The lineup is mental. It is definitely a lineup of extremely fast drivers. I can see why Icewind has been tearing his hair out all week this week, worrying about this race and who he's racing against. The competition here is fierce.
Yeah, definitely. Looking forward to seeing how the newer guys into Tier 1 perform as well. I'm curious to see if they're going to be able to keep up with the boys that have been in here for a while now, or if we're going to see maybe a small split, and we'll kind of have I guess like a front end of the grid and a sort of back end of the grid, so it might almost become a bit of a two-part race in a way. But yeah, interesting to see how these guys are going to stack up against the veterans, let's say, of Tier 1, as we see Copy just crossing the line there, puts himself into 8th position with a 128.8.
Yeah, Copy is also one of those guys who's extremely quick as well. You know, I might be a little bit disappointed with that run there. He can maybe eke a little bit, a couple of more tenths out of that car there. But it does seem like so far the top 11, 12, all within a second. Like there's 1 second separating the top 12 drivers here, which suggests that this is going to be a very tight tier, a great Tier 1 to be commentating on, and we're going to see some very exciting racing by the looks of things. Fox, another guy who's he hasn't set a lap at the moment. He's got no ERS either, so I think he's maybe invalidated a lap and not got that one done. Danny also yet to set a lap. He's there. 27.9 comes in from RK Lawrence. Again, one of the quickest drivers we've ever had in SLR as well. As Danny comes around turn 13, very pushing the limits on the track limits there a lot there in turn 13. It looked to me as though he maybe just straight across that white line, but the game let him off with it. He comes through the final corner now, and across the line we go. See what Danny can do, and he goes pole with a 127.989.
Wow.
So straight into the 27s there as he goes a bit sideways there. He's trying to avoid hitting somebody coming out of the pits there, but yeah, great time. Yari Speedy Copy champ, says Ocean Chief. They're all champing at the bit, I think. Forget this pole. Dudum. I'll see myself out.
Yeah, they're very close, as you say, the top two there. I'm quite pleasantly surprised to see Danny actually managing to jump against K Lawrence there into P1.
Yeah, Danny's quite competitive in this game from what I've seen so far, and but yeah, we've got a very tight grid here. I mean, some of these guys, we've got a Daisy who's sniffing around those guys again this season. He's up there at the top, ready to fight for wins, but maybe lacks that tenth of pace, tenth or two of pace to really challenge them in the pole for pole sitter. But there's a lot of guys here who are capable of winning a race here. I mean, Yari at the moment down at P6. You've got to say he's really the alien of aliens, and he's the guy who you expect to top this list. But yeah, still a lot of excitement and time to be had in this qualifying to see what people can do. And I get the feeling that there's a few people out there who are maybe 3 or 4 tenths off their real pace. Speedy makes his long-awaited return to SLR as well, and I think this guy's on pad. Unbelievable times that this guy can put in on a pad as well. with no assists. And he's currently running on a lap as well with a 28.9 on the bank. He'll be looking to improve here as he comes through turns 11 and 12. Yeah, interesting. Not a lot of people have been enjoying this track in practice so far. Lots of, I think it's a speedy gets a purple sector too. I don't think that means anything still in this game. It's really just means that I think in last game it just meant that you went faster than the guy ahead of you. So you went faster than him in sector 2, but that could mean anything. You could have gone faster than everybody ahead of him. But comes straight into the pits and abandons that lap by the looks of things. So not for him, that one, not for him. Let's see on board with Icewind, see what he can do. He's got a nice tidy line there through turn 7. As he comes down to this horrid turn 10. Absolutely hate this corner. Worst one on the calendar for me, this corner.
Oh, there's a spin. There's a spin at the back of the grid there. I think that's a Mercedes. That's Hoodham having a bit of a moment. That's on the final corner there, just onto the main straight.
Yeah, straight into the pits he comes.
Yep, those tyres will be cooked.
But yeah, Meepo also putting in a decent time there, getting himself up to P9s, follow back on board with Icewind as he comes around into turn 13. It's a nice line there, and yeah, very, very tight on the limits again on the exit of that corner there. You've got to really use all of the track in that corner. Let's see how he takes the final corner as well. Misses the apex by quite a margin and invalidates on the exit. Oh, that is so frustrating to invalidate in the final corner as well. But he'll come straight in the pits and he'll go again, I'm sure. But, yeah.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning to anyone who's an avid, let's say an exclusive Tier 1 viewer who's maybe not seen the other races so far this week. The curbs in this game, very interesting. Curbs in the last game, quite dangerous if you were to touch them. In this game, they're a little bit more forgiving in some areas, but in other areas are quite the opposite. And the problem you now have is with the cars running so low and the ground effects, of course, you hit one of those curves bang on in the middle, it completely unsettles the car. You're kind of wheels off the ground, you're skating along it. Very easy to get it wrong. And then on another point as well, we have the throttle control, which is hugely different this year as well, this season. A lot more emphasis now on how you exit the corner than there was in previous years. Before, you were able to almost go straight to 100% throttle as long as your wheels were pointing straight. This season, in this game, you can have to be a lot more careful, a lot more sort of tentative on that throttle pedal, just gently building up the revs as you build your speed out of the corner. So I expect to see a handful of small mistakes as we go on through the qualifying and through the race as well. But that's going to make for some pretty exciting racing, I'm sure.
As Yanis crosses the line, improves up to P13, but it seems a way off the pace of these top guys. These guys are absolute aliens, and it's Pemi to cross the line next. See if no, he's going to come in at the pits anyway, so he's abandoning his lap as well. But yeah, interesting. The new handling model is very interesting. I quite enjoy it. I quite like it. I've always thought that the handling model has never been that particularly realistic to F1 cars. I think if anybody's raced the W12s in iRacing, they'll know what realistic really feels like. But somebody's just improved a lot there and gone quite high. I think it was Loff, maybe, was it? Who was it? Was it Copy? Copy is also...
both drivers have managed to jump up a few positions there. Good performances from Loff, as you say, one of the newcomers to Tier 1.
Certainly is, yeah. He's currently head and shoulders above everybody else who's turned off assists for this thing. But look at this grid, man. Like, I mean, Tenori is DNF'd. I'm not sure what's gone on there. He's done it in the pits, I think. Didn't see that happen on track, but he's going to be disappointed with a 29.2 and a Zyken at the moment with a 30.1. That was his banker lap as well. He'll be looking to improve on that. But some of these guys new to Tier 1, new to no assists, maybe struggling a little bit. And they might struggle more in the race as well, because I found when you turn, these guys will have left line till last. Is the usual way this works. And that line is what gives you the consistency. And without that in the race, you can make mistake after mistake, and kind of each of them add up and cost you a lot of time and things. But yeah, the very interesting thing is the curbs. I really enjoy the curbs with the new handling model. It is much more realistic than last year. Last year, it just felt as though you can't touch this curb, you can't touch that curb. You can touch this curb, but you've got to get it perfect, or you can touch that curb anytime you want. But it was all they were almost like, you can't touch this curb no matter how fast you're going, no matter how slow you're going. You can't touch this curb or it will spin you. Zyken then starting his lap by the looks of things, is he? Or is he going for a second run? I can't tell. He's got no ERS. He's got half his ERS. He's still going.
This should be his, yeah, so his tyres are showing on 0 laps, so this must be his first full run. Of course, there are still minor graphical glitches, it's worth mentioning that, so I don't know how accurate some of the information is that we're seeing, but yeah, according to the game, he's on fresh tyres still.
And this game is very much got a lot of the problems that the previous games had, because of what they do is they just copy and paste the code from last year's game, and that's what they start with for the new game, and doesn't necessarily have all of the patches from the previous game either. So glitches and bugs follow us through the years as well, which is an annoyance for sure. But is similar for other year games as well, such as FIFA. Yeah, it's interesting to see. Some people are struggling here though in this session and qualifying here, because what McKenna down in P11, Icewind down in P15. Icewind has been complaining that he hasn't really got the pace, and the best he can do maybe is a 28.2. A 28.2 would get him into the top 10, but he really needs to get into the 27s to really compete kind of thing. But I think a lot of these guys are struggling to get into the 27s.
Oh, there's another spin up at the back of the
yeah, we've got Kate Lawrence, that is, who's doing donuts at the moment, and that could be his fast lap over with, as a Daisy comes across the line now. DRS open, so this could be his lap, and he goes pole with a 27.7. A Daisy.
That's a big jump. That's very big jump. 2 tenths and then some. Yeah.
So a lot of people there out in the outlap. We're going to try and get on board with the people who are going to be able to challenge for pole. And Meppo dies. Where did he die? Oh, out of turn 7 by the looks of things. Yeah, so that's qualifying over for Meppo, but hopefully for his sake that is all of his crashing done, because he died in tier 2 race yesterday into the pit wall when he missed his braking point for the pit entry. Hopefully that means that he's got his crash out of his system and that he can now think. But McKenna, as I was just talking about there, not having the greatest qualifying, puts himself up into P2 with a 27.933. And we've got Lawrence at the moment as well. He's starting a lap at the moment. We've got Danny on his out lap. Lawrence there as well. Is Justin on a lap at the moment? Yes, he is. He's just started it though. So I think it's going to be Lawrence who's going to be the first to cross the line out of the guys who are going to challenge for pole. Let's follow on board with him. But he's 2.8 seconds up on his time at the moment. I don't know if he's going to have enough fuel to go again. He's obviously made a big mistake here. So who is it going to be? So Crystal's at the moment on a lap. Danny on his out lap still. So Justin might be the first to cross the line. But Crystal's doing very well as well. He's always had a lot of pace. Maybe struggles for consistency in the race. Speedy retires from the session as well. I'm not sure if that's on track. I don't think it is. I can't see a car stopped. But yeah, let's see what can happen here. So we're following on board with Justin. This guy is blisteringly quick as well. Let's see if he can challenge these guys at the top. Got a number of people. I got the feeling this is going to be a very hectic final minute to qualifying, as we've got several people now on a lap.
Lawrence is just making his way down the back straight now, just coming down towards the final corner.
He's 9 seconds up on his time though, so he's going to start again, I think. Daisy retires, McKenna retires, that's his qualifying done. These guys retiring in the pits because they are finished. So it's going to be Justin first across the line out of these guys. Then we've got a Mercedes behind him. I'm not sure who that is. That's got to be Loff actually. But let's see what Justin can do. Justin gets himself up to P5 with a 28 flat. Andreas comes into the pit, so gives up on his. He won't be able to get another lap in. Danny then is going to be who's next on the across the line. We've got a Haas there. It's going to be Wow. Looks like Crystal's crossed the line to gain a position as well, up into P6. But Wow behind him might have something to say about that. He's going to be the next across the line, and then we're going to have Pemi behind him, who's currently sitting in P17. He'll be looking to gain a lot of positions there if he can gain even a tenth or two.
Oh, Danny's around.
Oh, Danny's around, unfortunate. That's
the end of his qualifying.
So that could mean that Daisy is the one for pole. Wow gets his position back from Crystals and Justin, gets a 28 flat, and Pemi is also out as well, so he's gone into the pits and given up on that one. Let's see who else we've got. We've got Fox there coming down the back straight. Copy finishes his lap there, gets himself up to P8. Not sure if that was an improvement on his previous time, but Nico crosses the line as well.
Still pushing. Lawrence goes purple in sector 2. He comes down onto the back straight now.
Fox crosses the line but doesn't gain any positions. Did improve, but Lawrence here is 1.6 tenths up. So if he finishes this, this could well be a new pole time. Let's see what he does as he crosses the line. It's P2, not good enough. 27.890. So a Daisy is going to be the man who. But well, Yari's coming in. Yari is in the pits. Crystals is out on track, but he's already crossed the finish line. So that is pretty much it. Yari down in P12. That is unexpected, but Daisy will be very happy with his performance there. Brilliant timing from him, and yeah, a couple of dare I say it, a couple of bottles there in that qualifying from some of the big guys, and yeah, that mixes things up a bit, but it looks like we're going to be in for an absolute fantastic race here. These guys are so tight on pace here that I get the feeling there's going to be a number of changes for the lead here, and some very tight and interesting racing. Look at this.
Definitely some close racing to come.
5/10 separates the top 10 nearly. 6/10 altogether, separating the top 10, and out of the top 7 only 3 or 4 tenths separating all of them. So very tight grid that we've got here for sure.
I wonder if this could play to Yari's advantage then. I mean, we expected him to be slightly further up the grid, but starting from P12 should allow him to take advantage of any battles that you see very early on in the race, especially coming into the first corner and such. If guys start tripping over each other, it's a long way down from that start line, so plenty of time to get a bit of slipstream and whatnot from the guys in front. So yeah, very high chance of guys tripping over one another as they try and make their way through the first set of corners, and Yari may be in a good position to capitalize on that.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's going to play a big part in this particular race is the ERS management. It's very tricky to manage the ERS around this track, and those who save it for the soft stint at the end, I think the majority of people are going to go for a medium soft, but maybe some people mix it up a bit in order to get an advantage where they can. But safety cars will mess up that strategy 100%. So a medium soft is the quickest strategy around here, but if everybody starts on the mediums and there's an early safety car, moving to the hards might be the better strat. But you want to avoid a 2-stop, and those who take advantage of any safety cars that do happen are probably going to gain big here. And I get the feeling that there very well might be a safety car here this evening. There's been a safety car in every race so far this week, and we have got a couple of people on the grid here that, let's just say, are prone to hugging walls and barriers, shall we say.
Worth mentioning as well quickly just before the race gets underway, as part of the new changes and whatnot in this game, we have manual race starts now, where the AI does not take over your car as you line back up on the grid. It is up to you how you line yourself up on the grid. You can point your car inwards, outwards, set yourself bang in line. That's entirely up to you. This makes the warming up phase, so the phase we're watching now in the formation lap, even more critical. Your tyres are generally speaking colder now at the beginning of the race, and at a lower temperature when they come out of the blanket. So that's also something to watch when we start getting to that pit stop window. As guys start switching onto other compounds of tyres, they come out, the tyres are considerably colder, and this plays a big part in how the race plays out.
Yeah, it makes undercutting a little bit more difficult as well, because obviously you've got to get those tyres up to temp very quick. Another rule change worth noting as well is that you now get free choice of tyre in the race. Everybody gets free choice of tyre. You no longer have to start on the tyre that you qualified in if you in the top 10. So that's interesting to see and how that plays out, kind of thing. But we have got 2 people opting to go for the hards. One is Yanis and the other is Yari, interestingly enough. Gone for a different idea to everybody else. Now that they're starting down in P12, decided to not go for the quickest strategy of the medium soft, gone for the hards. And I think, from where I sit, my perspective on that is that he wants to stay out if there is an early safety car, so that he can go to get the softs at the end of the race. Whereas everybody else, if they're on the mediums, they're going to have to pit for the for the hards early on. But the mediums are definitely the best race tyre around here as well. And the mediums can probably get to the end of this race from lap 1. But yeah, cars lining up on the grid now. I'm going to get on board with it as I can and try and get a good camera angle for the start. As we'll get ready here. I'm wondering what this is about, but a lot of people get disqualified.
I think that's when you overshoot. So if you look at Hoodim, for example, he's quite far back from his line in his box, and 1 or 2 other drivers who have overshot slightly, they will get disqualified, is how I understand it.
cannot get a good camera angle here at all, but there we go. We have got one. We've got 4 lights, 5 lights, and preparing to go. We are away for the Bahrain Grand Prix, and a horrible camera angle there, but it looks as though Daisy got a good start, and he covers off the inside there, going down into turn 1 from RK Lawrence, but I've got a terrible camera angle. I can't see what's going on. Looks like Kenda's got RK Lawrence around the outside into turn 1 and keeps the position, and RK Lawrence loses another position to Danny behind, and it looks like everybody's through cleanly so far, but Daisy hangs onto the lead. Oh no, Makenda has got the lead from Daisy, gets a great exit from turn 1 and gets him into turn 4. Brilliant stuff from Makenda, gains 2 positions from the start. Clean getaway from everybody though. Everybody's through, and off we go for a racing in Bahrain. This is already excellent stuff.
A number of position changes further back there as well. We've got 2 and 3 wide coming around some of these corners at the minute. We see Yari and Copy having a right old battle here. Yeah,
Yari looking to go round the outside of turn 10. Dangerous place to go side by side, but they keep it respectful, keep it tight. Yari already up 4 positions and gets it as he gets this one from Copy as well. But Copy is giving it up very easily at all. He's going to hang it around the inside into turn 11. And Yari again around the outside. Is he going to get this move done? Very respectful racing here from these 2 guys, giving each other plenty of space. But Yari comes out ahead after turn 12. Copy thought about a dive up the inside of turn 13, but it gives you a very bad exit, so it's not the option, not really an option to go for it there. But brilliant racing from those 2 guys. Yari comes out ahead, and Crystals now his next target. Yari, brilliant start from him, up 4 positions. Makenda though, what a start from him. Gains 3 positions at the beginning and takes 2 people, gets fastest lap as you would expect, but now he's leading the race and he's going to have a DRS train stuck all the way behind him. A brilliant start, everybody's through cleanly, and that's what we want to see.
Busy racing, the entire field within 1 second of the driver in front, which is quite unusual. Usually there's a few scraps and a few errors, or be the minor in some cases. But yeah, the whole field's very close together. Got Hoodem and Icewind now, and Mepo looking like he wants to get involved, coming down into this corner after the main DRS straight there now.
Yeah,
looks like Hoodem's going to defend that.
Yeah, so lots of racing going on here. It's very tricky to try and get on board with it all, but like you've got to say, these guys are everybody on this field at the moment kind of thing is a step above. They are so clean, so good at this race start and racing wheel to wheel that we've got basically a train, a DRS train, and going to lap 2 is big slip there from Icewind as he gets a bit of a tank slapper there, loses the position to Meepo, but hangs on to it in the end, but loses a couple more positions down that straight as he comes. Yeah, he loses a lot of positions there from that tank slapper, so that's one tiny little mistake can cause you to lose 4 or 5 positions there, as Icewind's just found out. That's not gone his way, but looks like Crystals has got wow at some point there as well. We've missed that one as well, but it seems to be settling down into a little train, but we have got currently a DRS train from first to last.
Closest, one of the closer battles. Look like Loth is trying to get his own back on Copy, so that fight not quite done yet. We've also got Hoodem on the back of Pemi as well, getting very close now. Will he go for a dive? It'd be a bit unwise to do so from here, but he looks like he was thinking about it there. Wisely chooses to abort that and jump back into the queue.
Yeah, DRS is now enabled as well, so people will have it down this straight, but it might not be enough to make a move down this straight yet. Best place to make a move is down the first straight, the pit straight, or you can kind of hang back there and do it down into turn 4 as well, but that is tricky to go down the inside there because you get the wrong line going into turn 6s and 7s. But yeah, so far so good. Bit of a gap being created here.
Oh, there's the yellow flag. That's Janus has gone around.
Yeah, certainly is. He looks like he's still on track and has his full wing, so maybe some contact there. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but yeah, he'll be fine with that for the time being because he has got those hard tyres. He's going to go long anyway, but that does kind of spoil his strategy a little bit because he wanted to kind of stay out of trouble and avoid anything like that. But Makenda almost made a break for it, but Daisy has used a bit of ERS there to get back in contention by the looks of things, and is now back within the DRS zone.
So we're going to see
again, very close to the back of Pemi. Looking down the inside of the final corner, but doesn't go for it in the end. But scares Pemi wide and gets a great line there and a great exit out of the final corner. So it looks like Hoodem is going to get Pemi down the main straight. He gets DRS. Hoodem has DRS. Pemi has DRS as well, but They're going to fight it out into turn 1 still again. Can Pemi hold it around the outside and keep the inside line here? No, he gets shoved off. That very hard racing there from Hudem, but fair by the looks of things, and he looks like he's got that position for now. And yeah, you'll hold on to that going into turn 4. Pemi loses out. Great racing.
I'm just going to say, interesting point there. The whole field there, with the exception of Janice, and of course Makenda with DRS there on the first lap where DRS is available. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Yeah, this is. I've been commentating SLR for a long time now, and I've done a fair bit of Tier 1 commentary as well, and I have not seen it be this clean and this good and lap 1 for a long time. And I honestly put this down to the improved handling model, if I'm honest. These guys know how a car is supposed to handle, and when it all comes together and it works and it's predictable, this is the kind of racing that we get, and it is very tense, as Ocean Chief says. 3-second time penalty for Yari, though. That is not what he wanted at all. And Yari, honestly, struggling a little bit here. He gained 4 positions on lap 1, but those hards not working out for him at the moment. Stuck in the DRS train, but it doesn't really look as though he's got the pace to really catch up at the back of WoW. And maybe the reign of Yari is over.
Yeah, when the racing is this close and this clean, the very last thing you want to be getting is time penalties, because you will slip straight to the back of that grid.
Yeah, I mean, he might not slip to the back, but he's definitely going to slip out of the points if it stays this way. But he may have a trick or two up his sleeve for later on in the race. He started on the hards for a reason, to do something different. But thus far, it is very good racing so far, very clean, very tight and tense. And it's interesting to see what people are going to do here and how this is going to play out. A safety car doesn't look all that likely at the moment with the way things are going. And yeah, Copy might get Yari. Copy has the better tyres at the moment. The mediums are 100% the best race tyre in this year's game. And the hards, yeah, Yari's maybe got if he had the mediums on, maybe he would be pushing more for this. But because he's got the hards, he's maybe lacking that 10th or 2 in pace to challenge the guy ahead of him, and that's leaving him vulnerable to the guy behind. But as long as he stays in DRS, he should be okay. But if this minute he loses DRS to the car in front, Copy will be all over him like nappy rash on a baby.
Yeah, I mean, as in real life as well, the hard tyres, they aren't particularly great to begin with, but there is a point where you kind of break through that top layer of rubber, and they do kind of come to you a little bit, and that's emulated in the game quite well, I find, as well, when you're running on those hard
coming
tyres.
in thick and fast there, as well as the top 3 guys all got the fastest lap, one after the other. This is brilliant racing from these 3 guys at the front there. Makenda is hanging on to his ERS as well. Danny has used a bit of his. Lawrence as well behind is holding on to it. A lot of these guys are holding on to it a lot, but Crystals looks as though he's drained his, and Yari is down to 11% ERS, so he's had to use quite a bit to stay in contention here. Oh, and he goes wide, and Copy takes full advantage of that as Yari makes a mistake into turn 4. Copy just dived up the inside there, and now Loff is all over the back of Yari as well. Yari not having the best race, and it looks like, oh, what a shot we've got there.
Oh, and he goes for a dive as well.
Loff went for the dive, and he was very lucky that Yari ghosted there, you have to say, because he was... Yari turned in and there was going to be contact. It looks like Yari's disconnected apparently, so that maybe was more, maybe made that more exciting than I should have. Yari has left the session, yeah, so confirmation there. Yari not having things his way at the moment, so tricky one for Yari.
Notice he disconnected briefly during qualifying as well, so possible connectivity issues there, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, a little bit of a gap there created between Lawrence and Daisy as well, but I think was Danico ahead of Lawrence? I think he was, wasn't he? Or is that, have I missed something there? Yeah, let's have a look at the position changes then, and we get to lap 7 as Daisy now gets the fastest lap and is now all over the back of Makenda. We're going to have a move here into turn 1 maybe. Yeah, looks like Daisy has got that one done, but will McKenna come back at him now that he gets DRS down into turn 4? Let's have a look. We get some poor camera angles here, but yeah, looks like McKenna isn't thinking about it. He's just happy to sit there for now and hold on to it. But some gaps are emerging. We've got a second gap there from Copy to Wow, and Loft looks like he's struggling to hold on to the back of Copy. Put him is a little way off as well. And I think that's Yari causing that. His disconnected car is causing people to causing a couple of gaps to appear here and there. So people may have to use a bit of battery to close those. But some tense, tight racing here. Anybody in the top 7 can win it at this stage.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fights up and down the grid as we watch this. Plenty close battles.
Certainly is. Yeah, big winners at the moment are Pemi and Speedy, who have both gained 5 positions from the start. Zenari and Azaikin are both up 2, and Icewind and Yanis are the big losers at the moment, both losing 4 positions. And yeah, it is extremely difficult at this point in the race. Icewind very much struggling, and he was unhappy last night. He said this might be his first and last race in SLR. He's very unhappy with the handling model this year, and his current position is not filling me full of confidence that we're going to have him in the next race in Imola. But the guy is struggling for pace. This field is ridiculous, you've got to say. They are all so quick, so consistent, and one mistake he's made here today in this race, but he is catching up to the back of his Icon, so he can maybe collect a couple of positions here, and anything can happen in racing, as we've seen plenty of times before, as Pemi has gained a few positions there, as Fox lost 2 positions. Pemi and Speedy both gained positions there. Looks like Fox has made a mistake. Not sure what's happened there. Maybe that was just them both getting DRS down into turn 1 where Fox didn't have it. If you lose DRS from the guy in front in this train, you are a sitting duck. You have got no chance.
Fox has just briefly ghosted there coming around the first set of corners, so I wonder if he maybe ran slightly wide or a slight bit of a spin. The game this year very quick to detect when you're in trouble. It does seem to ghost you quite a bit earlier than in previous titles. So
I would disagree with that. Since I hit the back of Patriot and Wimpy, yeah, in tier 3 when they made contact in turn 4, I was expecting them to ghost, but they did not. So, it can always catch you out.
Can't say I've had that experience myself. Like I say, I think so far from me, my point of view, it's always looked like it's ghosted you very early on, to the point where it's almost like a bit of an overcautious game. I think you had an incident which caused a safety car in your race, and that was again a somewhat minor incident, and yeah, safety car was out for that as well. So
yep,
it's interesting to see. We're still learning the game's nuances and stuff. So
certainly are.
Curious to see.
Daisy though down to 30% ERS. A lot of these guys now running very low on ERS. Danny Cole down to 16%, and Justin is the only one out of those front runners who still has a lot of his battery left. 40% for McKenda and Lawrence, but still a very tight battle through the top 8. Throughout the top 8, looks like Andreas Loff has made an error and is now fallen off the back of Copy, and Hooden will be looking to chase him down and gain another position there as well, and try and secure points, because it looks like such a tense and tight field this, that points are going to be hard to come by, and people will be fighting for those last point playing positions with as much verve and gusto as the top guys are as well.
Just watching this fight between Speedy and Pemi, two of the closest guys on the track, and it looks like every time they get to a DRS straight, Speedy's able to close that gap, but just never quite enough to make a move into the next corner.
Yeah. Speedy struggling to get past these guys. Know they're racing, and if they defend in these little things, but the thing is, if you defend your line in this little DRS train and you lose time to the guy in front of you because you defended your line, then that leaves you a sitting duck later on. But there's a penalty there for Speedy. 2/10 he is behind Pemi at the moment, and Pemi looks as though he has no ERS. His light was flashing, and yeah, down to 30% to Speedy's 40 odd percent. Speedy is boosting now, so he looks like he's going to try and get the move done into turn 1, but that is going to deplete his entire battery by the looks of things. Is Pemi going to defend it? He looks like he's not going to the inside. Speedy goes to the inside, looks to brake later, gets alongside, but Pemi now has the inside for turn 2. Space given, but it's tight and it's hard racing, and there is a spin there, and I don't think that was due to the contact. I think that was just trying to get on the traction. But there was contact, a little bit of contact there, maybe a bit of net code. But that is the first incident we've had, lap 10 by the looks of things, other than Yanis spinning. I'm not sure. We're not sure what happened there though. Yari down into P19 now as well, and I'm wondering whether or not he will ever be able to reconnect. I have not seen him reconnect yet, so that is unfortunate for him. But Copy now all over the back of Wow, who does not have DRS to the guy ahead, meaning that WoW might be a sitting duck to Copy, and Copy might be looking to make a move here as well. But it looks as though top 6 still have that train going. But we're going to see a war of attrition here. Like, it's going to be all about who can not make mistakes, who can stay in that train without making any mistakes, without getting that snap of oversteer that costs you a tenth or 2 down a straight, that loses the DRS. Because if you lose that DRS, you're in big trouble.
The 2 Mercedes boys are having a right old fight now as well. I wonder if we're going to see some team orders now coming down this back straight, because Hudim looks like he's got a lot more pace than Loff at this stage.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be in VC together. But Loff might just see this and say to himself, we are teammates. He's got the pace. He's caught up very quickly. It looks like we are going to have a move here from Hudim. He's gone to the inside there. Doesn't look like Loff's fighting. I don't think he could fight it even if he wanted to. But respectful racing there from Hudim. He doesn't cut across and break in front of his teammate. And I don't think Loff is going to have the pace to get him into P2 anyway. Copy still hasn't got the move done on WoW either, but surely that's a matter of time. But WoW does look as though he might catch the back of these guys, and Copy really wants to get that move done with DRS to catapult himself. Got a yellow flag.
Oh, there's a yellow flag. Yep, that's Nico, I think, has gone around.
It is, and he's gone around out of turn 4 there. Probably just caught too much curve one place or the other. Oh, it's also a tricky traction zone as well. Traction is going to catch people out, but Copy has got WoW as well. Looks like WoW went deep into turn 10, outbraked himself, got himself onto the curb, and that bottoms the car out, makes you go straight on, as we were talking about earlier on. So Copy gains his position as well. This is fantastic racing. There's action all over the field, and shout out to Tenari and Meepo as well, who are doing very well here. Tenari has gained 5 positions. Meepo is where he started, but they are so far so good for these 2 Finns, 2 young Finns here on the grid. And if they can keep things together and tight, as Tenori gets a bit of a snap there, but holds on to it. If these 2 can finish this race without incident, it'll give them a lot of confidence. But the thing is here now, WoW has the DRS on Copy, and it looks like he's going to try and get this position back. He's gone for the inside here, and yeah, Copy doesn't fight it too hard. Oop, a bit of lag and a glitch there, like as a bit of desync as like WoW jumped back a step into Copy. That would have scared the living daylight out of me if I was in Copy's car. Would definitely need a nappy change after that if that happened to me.
Larson in the chat there just mentioning that apparently it's not possible to rejoin the lobby once disconnected, as that's what happened in the 2S race this week. So well. I'm not sure if we will see Yari again, unfortunately.
I mean, Codemaster is absolutely brilliant, comes to mind, because I mean that was a thing that was possible last game, and people disconnect from online games all of the time. Why wouldn't you make it a possibility to get back in? Absolutely stupid stuff, but still, we have a race on our hands at the moment, though. Top 6 all within DRS of each other, and Daisy currently has done well to regain as much ERS as he has, up to 40% now, but cannot break away from the pack. None of these guys can break away from the pack, so it's just a DRS train at the moment. Nobody can make a move other than Makenda, and Makenda doesn't want to. He wants to stay there and hang on to a Daisy without using any battery, but he is boosting a little bit here and there.
Fantastic stuff this. We've got the top 6 are still within a second of each other, and we're 13 laps into this race. We're almost coming up to the halfway point.
Makenda has made the move on a Daisy, though. Makes it nice and easy into turn 1. And I think both these guys are finished, I think we've got a lot of Finns on the grid today, and these guys might be in VC together and working together. Oh, okay, Lawrence looks like he might be going for a move up the inside of turn 4, but thought better of it. I think these 2 guys, these 2 Finns at the front of the grid, are working together to help each other charge their ERS. But Makenda down to 35%, Danny down to 22, Lawrence 43, Justin 83%. He's the only guy on this top 6 who has been saving ERS all the way. And Crystals is using all of his as well, down to 22%. But Crystal's having a fantastic race so far as well.
Oh, yellow flag. I think that's Mepo's gone around.
It certainly
is. Really unfortunate for him. He's been having a really solid race up until now as well. So yeah, that's gutting for him.
Yeah, he does well to rejoin safely though, but he may lose another position to Azagan, but I doubt it. Looks like Azagan is too far back for the time being. But no damage to that front wing from what we can see. But that's another thing that is new to this game as well. Because of the downforce effects from under the floor, a yellow wing is no longer really cause for concern. You can still drive the car quite easily with front wing damage, and you can. The game won't even automatically switch it out for you if it's yellow. It's only if it's red, I think, it will automatically switch it out. But it does still cost you a little bit of time. Makes it a little bit difficult to drive, but it's definitely drivable with wing damage. Whereas previous game, it was as soon as you got a little bit of wing damage, it was good night. You had to pit and get the wing changed because it cost you so much time.
Just trying to keep an eye on this top 6 here, mostly between Justin, Danny and Lawrence. McKenda looks like he's going to check out in a minute. If Desi's not careful, he needs to keep that gap under control.
Certainly does. Desi still has plenty of ERS in the bank to close that gap if he needs to. If he boosts at the right time, he'll stay within DRS. That's all he needs to do at the moment. He's just on there to make sure he's within 1 second for the DRS detection zone. But fantastic racing from these guys so far. Copy and Wow switching positions left, right and centre, but nothing to be done there. I think Wow, Copy might just sit there and try and conserve some battery, but a lot of these guys are running low on battery at the moment. But strategy-wise, it looks as though everybody's going to be able to get the medium soft done. And Yari and Yanis, the two guys who were going for an alternate strategy, are 19th and 20th at the moment. Yari because he disconnected and is now out of the race. And Yanis because he had a spin on lap 1, but he's now back onto the back of Nico. And those mediums are going to start to fall off a little bit now. And Yanis might be able to gain a few positions back. But yeah, interesting stuff. It's going to come down, I think, this to who pulls the trigger first and gets the undercut. The undercut is worth a second or two here. It is powerful at this track, but you obviously have to get a very good outlap because those cold tyres are going to be a struggle for some of these drivers.
Well, Pemi's all over the back of Loff, and Fox is all over the back of Pemi, so they've got a bit of a three-way fight for P10 here. They seem to concertina up every time they get into one of the corners, and a couple of times they look like one of them or two of them have thought about going for a cheeky little dive there. But Loff having to defend as hard as he can right now.
I think, yeah, Loff hasn't got anything to lose by taking the inside line here or there, so he just wants to keep these guys behind, but at the same time, you don't necessarily want to be leading a little train. If he thinks he can keep up with these guys, if they're past them, but they're faster than him, because they obviously caught up the gap to him. And I know Fox, this year's game, Fox has been very quick in TT, and he's had a decent qualifying today, but maybe expected a bit more from himself. He'll be looking to make headway in the race because of that, maybe.
Oh, and Nico dives down the inside of Zyken, the side-by-side onto the DRS straight. Now his teammate Janice is just behind him as well, looking to get a toll past. I think Zyken might be losing 2 positions here.
Certainly will, yeah. So Zyken was a very fast boy in Tier 2 with line. I don't think he used any others, but he's holding it around the inside there in turn 11 and hangs on to that position from Yanis. Better grip on those mediums maybe in the high-speed corners. He doesn't want to give anything up too easy. He still wants to have some fun and races. Pemi does get past Loff in the end down that main straight, and it looks like Loff's done the right thing there, just to let him through basically, so that he can stay in the DRS train and defend from Fox. He wants to not lose the position to Fox, and he can now save some ERS and get pulled along by Pemi there. But, yeah, Yanis will probably still be looking at the back of Zyken, but it makes it more difficult to make the move if Zyken has the DRS from the guy in front as well. Will Nico be able to pull a gap away in order to help his teammate overtake Zyken as well? At the moment it's as you were in the top 6. All those guys are still absolutely amazing. Absolutely, I'm amazed by their consistency so far this race. Not one of them has made a major error or mistake, and they're all still in contention for the win because of that. Any one of these guys could win this, and it could be that some of these guys pit early for the softs, and that might mean that the softs then fall off at the end. It's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out strategy-wise. Who's going to pull the trigger first for the soft tyres, and who's going to go late in order to have the freshest tyres at the very end of the race. But yeah, pit stops could prove vital in the top 6 here. as Eichen has lost DRS to Nico. Nico has pulled that gap out, so it looks like Yanis might be able to get a move done as well.
Loff is going to go for another move as well.
Yanis
Now Loff is going to try and take a position back.
Unfortunately, Yanis spins it in turn 13 as Loff goes down the inside there into turn 1. Pemi looking to hang it around the outside, but doesn't manage to keep his nose there, as my nose is slightly blocked. You have to excuse me one moment.
Yeah, Pemi looks like he wants to try and possibly get a move back on Loff. I don't think he's going to make it down this straight, although they are very close. That looks like they might have touched there. Unsettles Loff just a tiny bit. I don't think there's any damage to Pemi's wing at this point, as he's running slightly wide there now. This is letting him, well, letting Fox get right up behind him now, so Pemi in a bit of a heated sandwich there as we speak. We'll see what they can do on this next DRS straight.
Apologies for that. I had to clear the sinuses a little bit. It's the summer weather in England. You can't win. Either it's too hot or it's temperate, and then hay fever kicks in. But for some reason my hay fever isn't ever that bad when it's 30 degrees plus, because it never kicks in summer either. Anyway, back to the racing. Copy and WoW seem to be having a very good battle there as well. WoW seems to have the measure, and a 3-second penalty comes in for Meepo there. He'll be unhappy with that. That might cost him a position. But Icewind doing well at the moment to get himself back up into P14 from P19 he was in the early stages of the race. He's made some headway there, and hopefully might be able to get himself back in the points, but he's all over the back of Tonari at the moment. Get the feeling that
Pemi's going for a dive. It's a very late one. Oh, he's made it though. That went a lot easier than I expected it to.
Looks like Icewind's waiting until turn 4 for his move as well, but great move and great racing from Pemi, Loff and Fox. Those guys are getting a lot of stuff done as Andreas going to go back for it. He's going to go round the outside of turn 4, but Pemi holds it at the inside and keeps the position. Great racing there from those two guys. Looks like Icewind and Tonari aren't going to get the move done. I'm glad I switched back to these guys, because these guys are fighting hard now. And yeah, only a matter of time before there's an incident here by the looks of things. But Loff not giving it up easy at all. And Fox can't do anything at this stage, because he's got to wait for something to happen ahead of him.
Oh no! Pemi's gone wide there, and he's allowed to pair them by.
Oh, that's very unfortunate. Just the pressure too much for him in the end. And yeah, that could mean that he's no longer in the runnings for that. And Fox could now get past Andres. That's the moment that Fox has been waiting for, essentially. He's been waiting for that to happen for the last 4 laps, so that he can now have a free run at Andreas. And if he gets past Loff, he might just have the pace to disappear from these guys and leave them fighting behind him.
Yeah, this could be the moment that Icewind's been waiting for as well now, as he's closing that gap rapidly down. I think he's just going to sit behind Tonari here until we get past this last corner, hopes for a good exit, and then DRS past him.
Certainly, yeah. I mean, these guys are probably in VC together as well, so they'll be talking about it. And bit of weaving there from Tonari was that. I'm not sure. I couldn't quite get the right camera angle for it, but it looks like Icewind is not going to go for it. He's just going to happy to sit here for the time being.
Interesting tactic, because he has twice the ERS of Tonari as well. I would have thought he could have made that move quite easily.
I'm thinking he probably wants to make the move down into turn 4 so that he can use his ERS to get away. But it looks as though he's maybe just happy to sit in behind and maybe wait for the pit stop to get him under the pits, essentially. But yeah, let's back on board with Fox and Loff. See what they can do, because the guys at the front at the moment are happy to just stay in that little train. Then all those guys can make a move at the moment, so it's all as you were there still. It's all going to come into play at the pit stops and see where that's going to happen. Pit stops then. So you're probably going to see people pit around lap 19 to 21 for the softs. The softs can go around 14 laps if you really take care of them, but the really top end is probably around 13 before they get into puncture territory. But they do fall off quite hard after 4 or 5 laps, especially if you're pushing hard and racing guys with them as well. So a lot of these guys are probably going to want to try and stay out as long as they can on the mediums in order to get the best.
And we see pits already.
Makenda
diving
is
in.
coming into the pits, and Justin that racer follows him in as well. So these guys are going to have the undercut on everybody else. Is this going to play out into their hands, or are they going to come out into traffic? Who knows where they're going to come out? Let's see what happens. So Makenda and Justin, let's see where they're going to come out. There's a couple of gaps for them to drop into. And Fox I don't think is going to... Oh, Fox is going for the move. He's gone down the inside. Late dive there, but gets his nose cut off by Loff. Hard but fair racing by the looks of things. Left the space there, but it means that Fox did not get a very good exit out of turn 1, and Loff holds on to the position for the time being. Pemi in the pits goes for the softs, and yeah, McKenna and Justin both went for the softs as well, but did not come out in the same rung. So something went wrong for Justin by the looks of things. Icewind does eventually get to Nari, and he did wait until turn 4 to do it, and now he's on the back of his teammate McKenna, and McKenna is going to be able to drag Icewind along. Maybe that's what he was waiting for. Are these guys that coordinated in their VC channels to order to do that? But McKenna currently clean air. That is very important for him for the race win. Justin, not so clean air. He has 2 people to overtake, and one of them is McKenna's teammate, who might just stay out in order to scupper Justin's race, to hold him up a little bit. But Justin is probably going to want to get these guys dispatched as quickly as he can. Be interesting to see.
Looking like Lawrence is getting very close now, and he's boosting as well on a Desi. He's going to jump to the inside.
Danny in the pits, Crystal's in the pits, but Lawrence and a Daisy, neither of which have gone in the pits. Lawrence takes the lead. Cody goes into the lead of this race now as well, and 21 laps is going to be there. They're going to be the last to pit. We're going to see how this all plays out. Let's see then how McKenna does, because he was ahead of these guys. Tenari gets a 3-second time penalty there. He was ahead of both of those guys before he came into the pits. And is he going to go back ahead? Yes, he is. So undercut is working for him. And Icewind ends up ahead of Danny as well.
Oh, it's a very busy first corner.
Certainly is. Yeah,
Justin getting past Danny there.
Yeah, so the undercuts worked out wonders for Justin. He's gained a position on Danny in the end. Crystals has lost out big time, and is lost out to well, he hasn't really lost out anything really, because he's not lost a position, but he has now got a car between him and the guys. But it should all work itself out when Tenari pits, which he should be pitting soon. But it looks like the undercut is the way to go as Justin gets past Icewind. Those fresh softs, an unconventional place to pass, but those fresh softs helping out. Icewind gets a bit of a tank slapper there, as you saw on the bottom there, allowing Danny past as well. So yeah, can't really fight that one too hard. He hasn't got the tyres for it. Old mediums against fresh softs. He doesn't want to fight that anyway. It's not his race. But yeah, it's strategies. It's all happening now with the strategies. Let's see how this plays out. It looks like Justin so far is the big winner. And it could be that Lawrence now in the pits, Daisy as well in the pits. McKenna could gain big here and create a gap. He's coming around the final corner now as Lawrence comes out.
Very close.
It's going to
Lawrence
be very,
did manage
very
to
close.
get. He did manage to break that 1-second gap to Desi before pitting. Be interesting to see if that's maintained now. Of course, a lot more going on in your pit stops this season as well.
So McKenna has easily retaken the lead, and he looks like he might have a big gap as well. Lawrence tucks in behind his teammate in the other Red Bull, which is Justin. Justin has gained a lot from that undercut. He has jumped 3 guys now, and a Daisy has lost out big time. Danny going for the move now as well on Cody, and gets that done in plenty of time as well. So Danny puts himself up to P3. He's gained massively out of that as well, because the cold tyres of Cody's cold tyres couldn't cope with the freshly heated up ones of Danny Co. So it's all happening, and McKenna 1.9 second gap now to Justin. He has timed that brilliantly and got that pit stop in and out quick as you like an eel in the bath.
And I hinted to it a second ago, but with this season of racing as well, the pit stops are a lot more of the pit stop is now down to the driver in terms of timing a turn in, timing the point that you leave at. So there's a few more little variables there that can lose or gain you time as you're pitting as well. So it's not just as simple anymore as being able to factor in a certain amount of seconds for a pit stop. There's now a little bit more involvement, a little bit more input from the drivers themselves as well, which can have an effect on their overall race.
Looks like a Daisy might be a sitting duck now to Crystals as well. The Crystals might be about to make his first overtake of the race at lap 23. He's going to have DRS, and a Daisy isn't. He is not boosting at all. He's just going to use the DRS to get it done. Goes for the inside, and it looks like that's going to be a simple move on a Daisy. He doesn't cut back across in front, but gets the inside line for turn 2 as well to prevent the switchback. And that is a P5 position for Crystals, who's now going to have to catch up to Lawrence as quick as he can. But it looks like he will be able to do that. He's already got that down to just a 1/10 gap to DRS. 2/10 that he needs to make up there to catch on at the back of these top guys. But Danny as well, all over the back of Justin. He's going to be looking to make a move on Justin as well, as the gaps after the pit stops are huge now in the top 6. That's really shaking things up a bit. And wow, now all over the back of a Daisy as well. Things have not gone well for a Daisy at all, have they? That pit stop, he's gone from fighting for the win in P1, 2, 3 to now down into P6, and now could be under pressure from P7 as well. Big shake up. Big shake up. Follow on board now with Danny as see if he's going to make a move on Justin, that racer. He has the fresher tyres as well, so his tyres will be fresher for longer, last a bit longer, and get the feeling that if these guys fight too much though, it could mean that Cody can get onto the back of them and then be back in the fight. But Crystals all over the back of Cody as well. He's got DRS where Cody doesn't. And Daisy is still hanging on to the back of Crystals as well.
Oh, Danny's going for a move. Danny's going for the move on Justin. He's on the inside into the first corner. He's made it stick. Justin having a quick little peek there to try and possibly come back at him. I wonder if he's going to try and fight him up this next DRS straight now.
Brilliant racing from Danny there. Is he going to have another go though into turn 4? Because Justin will now get the DRS, but it doesn't look like he has the exit to do it really. So yeah, he's just gonna have to try and hang on at the back of him and hope for a podium. He really needs to. They don't want to fight too hard because that would allow Cody back into the fight, and Cody has the wherewithal, the racecraft, and the speed to beat both these guys. I mean, all these guys have got to think about the big picture. It's so tight and intense, this race as well, and we've got some great pace here at the front as well. But at the moment, it looks as though Danny has it all to do to close that gap to McKenda to get the race win, but it's still all to play for. Any one mistake from McKenda and he could let these guys right back into it, but at the moment, McKenda's to lose.
Yeah, certainly seems that way now. See Justin hanging on to the back of Danny there, doing not too bad of a job to keep him with him there. If you can get a good exit out of this last corner, might see him challenge to try and pull that second place back.
Yeah. Very, very tense these final few laps. Still no safety car, still no major incident, and I hope it stays that way because this would be a fantastic end to this race. No incidents whatsoever. It looks like Fox might have been looking at Pemi as well. These guys are still fighting as Daisy gets the fastest lap and gets past Crystals down into turn 1 as well. Cuts back across in front of him. And yeah, Crystals ran out of battery now, so he's ruining his ERS management at the moment. But yeah, just needs to keep it together and stay with a Daisy. A Daisy might look to defend the inside here, but it doesn't look like Crystals is going to go for a move into the inside. It's very tricky to get that move done into the inside of turn 4. You need to have a great exit there. Speedy now getting the fastest lap, which kind of proves to us how quick this grid is. The guy in P14 has got the fastest lap as things stand. Yeah, I got a feeling that's going to change a few times.
Fox and Pemi still having a right old ding dong there, trading places down the start finish straight.
Yeah,
Pemi's
these three guys.
All the time. Loff is just on the back there again. So it's the same 3 guys, just with the positions inverted now, still going at it for P10. This battle has not finished.
It certainly hasn't. Yeah, it looks like Pemi maybe got a good advantage there through the pit stops because he looked dead and buried after that mistake in turn 10, but he's managed to come back into it. And yeah, these guys fighting hard for that last points paying positions, but it looks as though it's between those 3 for that 10th place. Everybody else seems to be nailed on for points at the moment, as long as they don't make any mistakes. Hoodham has had a fantastic race, but it's been fairly lonely for him. He hasn't had the pace of the guys in front and has been a bit of a step ahead of these guys behind, maybe because these guys have been fighting so much. He hasn't been involved in that at all, but I'm sure there's been a lot of action in the background as well. As Yanis now on the mediums, went for the hard medium strategy, didn't go from the hards to the softs. That's an interesting call. He pitted early from those. A 3-second time penalty for Speedy means that his chance of points is pretty much dead and buried as well. Any penalties now for these guys in the top as well is going to be fairly costly as well. But Justin, that racer, still all over the back of Danny, but can't get the move done. Daisy and Crystals are both fighting for the top 5 positions as well, but they've both got DRS from Lawrence. And now we've got a little train from Danny down to Crystals, and Danny really wants to try and catch McKenda. He's taking a couple of tenths out of, like maybe a tenth a lap out of him, but it's not coming down quick enough to really make a difference. But those tyres of McKenda's are going to be very, very worn come the end of the last 2 laps, really. They're not going to be there for him where they might be there for Danny, especially if Danny's taking care of them. But Danny's going to have to push really hard to close that 1 second gap. But even once he does, he might not be able to overtake McKenna. But McKenna without DRS is going to be a sitting duck. These guys, the ERS situation here then is that Daisy has 43%, Justin has 44%, and everybody else is below 20. So these 2 guys, Daisy and Justin, currently winning the war of attrition of ERS. I still can't call this. I don't know who's going to win it. McKenna's in the best position to do it at the moment, but I cannot call it.
I will add this to it as well. I just had a quick peek at the race director, and the top 5 have not even so much as had a warning yet. Crystal's the only driver in that top 6 fight at the minute who receives just the 1 warning.
Justin gets the move on Danny Coe, and Danny Coe might think about fighting this into turn 4. He's got no ERS though, so no, I think he's given up on that one for the time being. And but yeah, he will want to gain that position back. These guys are all so tight on pace and so tight on track here that they'll want to get as many points as they can, because this could decide the championship at the end of the season. It's a short season, every point counts, so Danny will definitely be wanting to save some ERS up here to try and get Justin back. But Justin at the moment has the ERS advantage, and Justin at the moment as well is taking chunks out of McKenna, so possibly a strategic move there to maybe close the gap up to McKenna. But 2 laps, 3 laps to go.
There's been a position change in P11 there as well. Loft making his way past Pemi now, and hoping to challenge Fox in these dying stages of the race now.
Yeah, Loft doing a lot better with this year's handling model than he did last year. He had a lot of spins and incidents last year, and I'm not surprised by that, to be honest. This year's game is a lot more predictable handling-wise than last year's, especially on entry to a corner. It's exits to corners that is a little bit less predictable, but in my opinion it is still predictable. You've just got to be very smooth with your throttle input. But Danny Coe 1/10 behind Justin, that racer, going down into turn 1, does not make the move there. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to get it done into turn 4 either, as he doesn't get the best exit, but still gaining with DRS, but not enough. You need to be really alongside coming out of turn 3 to get somebody into turn 4. But McKenna at the moment wants these guys to fight. The gap isn't really coming down quick enough for anybody to really challenge McKenna. McKenna at the moment down to 11% ERS, but anything can happen in this top 6, really. Like, this could all jumble up still. 2 laps to go.
Oh, and Lawrence just teasing us there, getting so close with his nose to the back of Danny's car.
Yeah, Meepo and Nico both having a fight there at the back of the grid as well. Looks like Meepo got past Nico. Meepo and Nico, is that a rhyme? Yeah, I think it is. Those guys are still fighting hard, even though there's nothing to fight for. Meepo has the penalty as well, so Nico is going to get the place regardless. And but yeah, looks like the gap to Tenari is too big to take advantage of. But we'll keep following on board, as the gap now to McKenna is down to 1.1 seconds, 1.2 seconds. And McKenna has no ERS left, and that is going to cost him, I think, as Justin, that racer, is defending the inside from Danny all the way down that straight. As I'm trying to get good camera angles. Codemasters, why won't you let us pick camera angles? I want a helicopter shot here. But yeah, it looks like Justin, that racer, might just have ERS for the back straight, but he may not get it for the first 2. Yeah, but he's defending hard and weaving left and right, making one move to defend, one move to get back to his line.
Loft has gone to the inside on the start-finish straight. Loft's past Fox now for that P10 position.
Looks like Fox is going to try and hang it around the outside though and keep his nose in there. He has got the nose in there, and there's contact, and a 3-second time penalty as well. So maybe not a lot of space given there for Fox. So maybe he couldn't avoid the contact, but it's just hard racing between these guys. Pemi might be here, ready to pick up any scraps that these guys leave. But both those guys in front of him have got no ERS, but neither does Pemi. Andreas is currently ahead, and they're still side by side going into turns 7 and 8. And oh, there's contact, and around goes Fox. And he's out of it. He is out of it, Fox, and there's a yellow flag there for that as well. But disqualified from the session, failed to use all the tyre compounds, is Yari. Yari's AI did not pit.
we better jump back to the front of the grid now as we see Makenda is making his way down to the last corner for the final time. It doesn't look like Justin's going to be close enough to do anything. There might still be a bit of fighting for P3 there.
It does look as though everybody's out of ERS. Yanis gets a 3-second time penalty, but Makenda wins the Bahrain Grand Prix. Justin rounds out and Danny round out the podium. Absolutely fantastic racing from all of those guys in the top 5. Crystals did fall off the back of those guys in the end. Had a mistake, but finishes strongly with a P6 finish. And what can we say about this season for Tier 1? 6 guys there at the top. Unseparated, like inseparable with the pace. And it all came down to the strategy. Makenda pitted early, went for the undercut, and it worked out for him. And Justin also got the undercut on a couple of guys as well. So it all came down to the pit stops. I wonder if anybody had any mistakes in the pit stops rather than that kind of thing. We're going to see a few incident reports there, I think, particularly maybe from Fox. There was a very tight fight there between Andreas, Pemi and Fox, and Andreas came out on top in the end. But yeah, Makenda is our first winner. What an absolutely incredible race that was. So tight, so tense, so many people fighting for the top spot there. That is what we want to see. We do not want to see the likes of Yari, who finished disqualified in last place here because of a disconnect. But he dominated the season last season and ran away with it. We don't want to see that happen again.
Oh, we have donuts from, I think, from Janice on the start-finish line.
I'm not sure what happened to Icewind either.
Icewind spectating.
Yeah, Icewind, P19. I don't know if he had an incident there that we missed at the end of that race, but there was so much going on that we couldn't keep on board with anything. But disqualified for parking in a dangerous location. Not the race that Icewind wanted either. I hope he sticks with it though, because with the new tunneling model and patch changes coming up, things will happen. But who's going to be our driver of the day? How the hell do you pick a driver of the day from this group? It's a tricky one, isn't it? It really is a tricky one, I think. Yeah,
I mean, for myself personally, two sort of pockets of interesting racing. Of course, the top 6 who are fighting for that P1, and then we had that epic 3-way fight for the majority of the race for P10 as well. So plenty of drivers in the running for a driver of the day today. I think I would be inclined to give it to Makenda just for the brilliant strategy call that he made there with the pit stop, able to push himself out ahead of the other guys there in the top 6 and managing to build that gap and then sustain it towards the end of the race there, of course, coming up from P3. So that would probably be my kind of idea. I don't know if you would agree with that or have any other ideas on who could potentially be in the running.
I'm not sure, to be honest. I mean, there's a lot of contenders for it, for sure. I think Pemi had a fantastic race, and maybe if he pinched that last points paying position, he might have gotten it. P17 to P11 is not to be sniffed at, though. But yeah, I think I have to go with either Makenda or Justin. Both of those guys pitted early, got the strategy right, and Justin as well did really well to fight off Danny Co to hold on to P2 as well. It closed the gap to Makenda to put Makenda under that pressure as well, but it was just too little too late. So I might go with Justin just because Makenda's already got the win. I'm going to go with Justin. But anybody in chat wants to talk about that? I hope I actually went down the grid there. I'm pretty sure I did. Danny might kill me otherwise. But yeah, let's move on to the interviews. And oh, I need my interview screen before anything. But yeah, interviews. Let's start with Danny. So Danny, fantastic racing all around there. That was a very, very tight race all the way through the race. Any tiny little mistake could have cost you big. You got the podium in the end, but you've got to be disappointed that you couldn't get the win and take the fight to Makenda in the last stint there. Talk us through it.
I don't know. In like even the first stint, nothing felt right during the game. Like the race, everything felt all over the place. So yeah.
Setup issues, maybe? Do you think, or was it just? I
think it might be because I didn't have time to fine tune it from Tuesday, so
That's a
we'll
shame.
have to hope Imola's a bit better.
That's a shame, but I mean, on the bright side, it looks as though we're not going to have the domination that we had last season. 6 guys all at the front. All these seem to be on a par pace-wise, and it looks like you could be in for some great racing this season. You've got to be looking forward to that, surely.
I mean, yes. Do feel like some of us have a bit more pace to give as well. Like Desi definitely has more race pace to give, because that quarter lap was very good.
Certainly was,
And
yeah. I mean,
Makenda's broke everyone's predictions already by getting a race win in the first race, which means he won't get the title. Surely, if he got it without the a win, so unlucky Makenda.
Shots fired already, but yeah, you're still there or thereabouts. How are you finding the new handling model? What are your thoughts on it so far? Do you like it?
I like it a lot. It's just setups and race setups mostly. I just need to fine tune in a way.
Setups definitely seem to be a bit tricky, especially for me, and it seems to be that there's more than one way to skin a cat this year as well, because it looks like Cody, our resident alien who reserved today, he's got a totally different direction that he's going with his setups, and it's working out for him as well. But I mean, that man can drive the most unstable setups anyway. With your setups, what kind of direction are you going in? Are you going for the level wings? Are you going for more front or back, or is this all confidential information that you don't want to release to the public?
I mean, I showed it on my stream, so I might as well say it. I ran pretty much the same as Cody. Just a click of roll bar less or something. And I don't know, it just seems unpredictable now and again. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's me driving it wrong at certain times, just like a lapse of concentration or something, but I don't know.
Well, remains to be seen, but
fine-tune.
you're still in there with a shout for another title, and after losing last year's in the final race in controversial circumstances, should we say, we'll leave it at that kind of thing. How are your feelings for the championship this season? Are you happy that do you think you're going to be in with a shout for championship at this early stage, or is it all to be played?
I'd like to think that, and a lot of people in the season predictions think that, so...
I mean, a lot of people in the season predictions predicted me to win Tier 3, but that's not happening, let's face it.
You never know. You never know.
I mean, if my Bahrain showing's anything to go by, no, I just don't think it's going to happen. But yeah, absolutely fantastic this race. No safety cars, and the wheel-to-wheel racing was by and large absolutely fantastic, very respectful, and yeah, I mean, at lap 10 there was still a train from like P1 down to P12 or something like that kind of thing. So I get the feeling that anybody in the top 10 today, top 12 really, could be a potential race winner. In this tier, so it's going to be tough.
I agree.
Very tough. But we'll let you go. We'll move on to the next interview. Enjoy the rest of your evening. But congratulations on your podium in your first race, mate.
Thank you.
So we shall move on now then to Crystals. Great race there, Crystals. You've got to be pleased with that. You didn't quite have the pace, and the ERS I think was what let you down in the end to get into the top 5, but top 6, and you kept pace with all those top aliens all the way through the race, and most importantly, no Spinellas, no crashes. You must be very pleased.
Yeah, I'm quite happy. Not entirely, because I think I could have done better, but yeah, I think I've messed up with the strategy, to be fair. Like, I've lost 1 or 2 positions at the start because there were like other 2 guys, which were like Icewind and another one. And yeah, they had yet to pit, so basically I lost the train, the DRS train, and after I had to use all the battery to get into, you know, Justin, Cody, and all these guys. But yeah, the pace was quite good. Happy because yeah, if we see who were ahead of me, like crazy fast, but yeah, I think the podium was possible. I think that, but.
I think so too, but
happy.
I think you had to get the strategy spot on, and then you had to get everything perfect from that moment on as well. Kind of thing. I think this is going to be a tough season to get a podium in, but the fact that you're there with them is a real achievement in itself. And next week is Imola, your home race. So you must be confident of that. I've seen you race there before, and it seems to be a track that suits you. Do you think?
Yeah, I think I can do well anymore. I like the track, so I don't know. But yeah, as you say, this is gonna be really tight. Like today, I didn't expect to be with them. I thought I was also struggling for points, but I didn't. So yeah, it's just very good tier. Like it's crazy. All this guy was just so fast, and every lap like I was on limits, but the times were very consistent because a lockup or a mistake would have got out of TRS. So basically, the end of your race.
Yeah, pressure's high in that situation, but you've just got to remain calm and stay with it. And obviously, because these guys are so quick, not a lot happens. You've just got to kind of race your race, do the lap after lap, and not make those little minor errors that'll drop you out. But because it's not a lot happening, there's less chance of an incident or anything like that that's going to cost you the race anyway. So you can just kind of relax and stay calm, hopefully. But I wish you the best of luck in Imola, but we're going to have to move on.
Yep,
We've got places to be and people to see, but congratulations on a good, strong finish. Hopefully we can see you move up the order next week.
Yes,
Take
for
care.
sure. Thank you. See you.
So we've just got Cody left, but it looks like he's streaming live, so I don't want to interrupt his stream with what he's doing there, but maybe we will. Maybe we'll just drag him in anyway, yeah. He's in the interview channel,
Yeah,
he deserves it.
yeah.
So, Cody, you're the last interview of the day, last man to drag in here. Apologies for interrupting your live stream there, but tense, tight race. Missed out on the podium, I think, came P4 in the end. Strategy maybe didn't go your way. That undercut from McKenna and Justin really worked out wonders for those guys. But I've got to say, the racing in those top six, between the top six guys, is unbelievably tight. What are your thoughts on how that went?
I'm trying to be diplomatic with what I'm about to say here because I have my gripes with this game, but I kind of went for a gamble going long on those mediums because I mean in the end I'm not here to points race. I'm here to try to win a race. So I figured if I just match what McKender and Justin do, I mean I'm just gonna follow McKender the whole way, aren't I? So I just figured I'd try something different, see if the traffic maybe would play a part, but just didn't.
McKenna got
honestly,
very good pit stop essentially, and he came out in clean air. Justin didn't quite come out in clean air, but he didn't have too much traffic in front of him either, so it worked out perfectly for those guys. The strategy just paid off, and I think maybe if they had a crew chief or something like that telling them that they're going to come out in clean air, that made the difference today. But yeah, we would normally expect you to see you dominating in this tier. You're usually head and shoulders above a lot of the guys here, but it seems as though that this game has tightened the field up quite a bit. So gripes you may have. Is it the handling model that you're not quite sure of, or
traction? Honestly, the traction just. Like I said, I'm trying to be diplomatic, of course, but it's just some of the mid and higher gear traction makes absolutely no sense. Just in train. Once I would get within 3/10 of another car, literally couldn't even get half throttle in like 5th gear without just having major wheel spin.
Yeah, it's a common complaint with this year's game, and I think there is a patch coming to change the torque levels in the lower gears because obviously the gears, because of the traction issues, gears 1, 2 and 3 are pretty much useless, to be honest.
Yep.
And a lot of drivers like yourself and Icewind who are stuck in their ways, and the muscle memory's there to go down all of the gears, are struggling a little bit with that. But yeah, hopefully that gets fixed, and it's a couple of teething issues with the game as there always will be, but honestly so far so good. I mean, compared to 2021's launch, which was an absolute ridiculous
shambles.
Absolute shambles. Yeah, that's a good word. I was trying to avoid a swear word, to be honest. It's difficult with Codemasters, but absolute shambles of 2021's launch. This one's been pretty good so far. If it's only that little traction that's causing the issues, and that's going to get patched in the imminent future, hopefully we have a great game on our hands and some great racing to be had as well. Are we going to see more of you in this tier, or is life going to get in the way, do you think?
I think life's going to get in the way, to be true. This might be one of the last races I get to do because I've been doing some interviews, job interviews and whatnot, and probably we'll have something pretty shortly. Fingers crossed. But who knows? Maybe I get to do a race or two in the future. It's fun racing here. Just wish I had a little bit better today. Yeah, like I said, lots of things I could say, but congrats to Bekender, congrats to Justin, congrats to Danny. They deserve their podium. I just wish I was up there myself. So.
Yeah, certainly. But yeah, anyway, we'll let you go and enjoy the rest of your evening. I wish you the best of luck with the new jobs and the interviews and things, and hopefully you can make it every now and again for a cameo appearance if you get a holiday or something like that kind of thing. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your evening, Cody. Take care.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
So that leaves it about it. Apologies for not letting you get a word in edgeways in the interviews, man, but I just enjoy doing the interviews, I suppose.
That's alright, now you pretty much covered everything I was thinking anyway.
Yeah, but how about that for a race, man? Like, this is the first time me and you've commentated together. I've got to say I've really enjoyed commentating with you as well, Boosted. And this race, unbelievable talent that we've got in this tier this year.
Yeah, absolutely unreal. I mean, I've had a bit of a break from commentating of late, so it's been a number of months since I've last done a commentary on a race. And yeah, what a race to be welcomed back into, you know, it's just unbelievably close all the way up and down, and really, really clean. Not a single safety car, a couple of minor spins. I don't think anyone even had any major damage during that race. It was just
not really, no.
Wheel to wheel the whole time, and action all the way up and down, it has to be said. There's just pockets of action everywhere.
Lots
really,
of
really
respect being shown as well, I noticed as well, with the guys, especially the guys in the top six, all kind of respecting each other's pace and not going for the sends or the dives. But I get the feeling, just like IRL, that respect and that niceness is gonna fade away as the season goes on. So we might see a bit more elbows out racing in the races to come, and I'm all for that as well, because these guys are capable of it as well. But it's going to be a very tense and tight championship, gotta say.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to seeing what's still to come. Imola next week as well, one of a personal favourite track of mine, so yeah, I can't wait to see how they do there.
Yeah, I really enjoy racing it. Well, I enjoy driving Imola. I don't enjoy racing it so much. The reason for me being is that I'm really quick through Acqua Minerale, but I'm slow everywhere else. And everybody else is slow through Acqua Minerale and quick everywhere else. So I end up punting people left, right and centre in Acqua Minerale at Imola. So I'm going to have a tough time next week, I think. I'm going to get a lot of practice in. I'm way off the pace at the moment for the top guys in Tier 3. But it'd be looking forward to see you in your first race in Tier 3 next week as well.
Unfortunately, myself and Shaka as well, so both McLarens from the Tier 3 group, unable to make the first race last week, or this week. So yeah, no, we're both hyped up and ready to go next week. Definitely keen to get cracking with that.
Given my pace from Bahrain and so far practice in Imola as well, we might be fighting wheel to wheel on track next week as well. I don't think I'm going to be fighting Schnell at all. That guy is an absolute alien for Tier 3. He's my shoe-in for the winner, really. I can't remember who I actually predicted to win, but I think it was Schnell. But yeah, looking forward to it. But anyway, I need to go to the little boys' room, and I've got other things to do tonight as well, so we'll leave it there. Love everybody and leave them. Don't forget to give us a like. We're getting a lot more views these days, but the likes aren't quite keeping up, so please remember to like the stream. Thank you guys for watching. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and take care.